the only outcome that I will not accept here is the New York Rangers taking that playoff spot from the Devils.
The Devils are officially in hell, let's say, because they are not planning on, per Tom Fitzgerald on a podcast with my pal Rob Simpson, saying that they are not planning on Dougie Hamilton being back during the playoffs, and Jonas Siegenthaler also out for the season and likely the playoffs. So a week ago, whenever, I think it was before the deadline, we were talking about the Devils, and we were like, now that Hughes is out, what should they do? Should they be sellers? Should they just kind of stand pat? And in my mind, I was like, they got a shit ton of LTIR money. Siegenthaler's going to come back. And this development that both of those guys, Dougie Hamilton, who is still like one of the, I won't say one of the best defensemen in the NHL, but definitely one of the better defensemen in the NHL, him being out for good, and Siegenthaler also, like, at this point, just fucking drop out, boys. I wanted you to make the playoffs because of what happened last year. I thought there was still a lot of value in getting there and saying, hey, new coach, we turned it around. Yeah, we underachieved last year, but this is a strong group. We know what we're doing. We will be back for real next year. But for now, we're still doing it. We're still making a push. And who knows, maybe you could be that Celtics team that when Kyrie went down, made a run to the Eastern Conference Final. Now, stakes are too high. There's too many teams that we like, too many teams that we want in. Devils, respectfully bow out, please.
I mean, I get what you're saying, and I sort of agree, but like from a Devil standpoint, you obviously like you don't want to bow out, and if you can get and hold on to that spot with a JV roster essentially, it's a little credit and a little head of steam heading into next year. But I understand what you're saying, that like there are so many playoff teams that we want to see get in, and like it does shift the expectation of the Devils, where even if the Devils get in now, you're like, oh, they're cooked.
I'll say Devils games are very interesting the rest of the way. I have found myself tuning in to a lot of games to see the other team, and the Devils are just right in the middle of it. They be playing those games. Tuesday, Blue Jackets Devils, very interesting game. The Devils came away with 2 points, which proves to be a lot more interesting because right now, maybe the Blue Jackets, even though they're banged up themselves, have designs on catching the Devils for that third Metropolitan spot.
They're banged up, but they have the potential of getting stronger like as the playoffs.
Those guys are coming back.
Right.
The Devils guys aren't. The Devils are 6 points ahead of the Blue Jackets for the third Metropolitan spots, but Blue Jackets have 2 games in hand. As I said, the Devils beat the Blue Jackets on Tuesday. Those teams play again Monday in Columbus, and if it weren't for us doing too many Columbus trips already, I'd say let's hop on a plane. Let's go see that game.
Would love to do that. You know what feels great right now?
What?
Those 17 cents in my pocket that I cashed out on for the New Jersey Devils.
Still asshole behavior.
Did I reinvest?
Yes.
Fuck no, brother.
On something else.
Reinvest, which is
like reallocate to a different team.
Put that on Nathan McKinnon to win the Hart.
Well, I did put a bet on Nathan McKinnon to win the Hart. I wouldn't say it was directly the same 17 cents.
You should have. It should have been whatever. It should have been like 10-17 or
2017.
2017.
Oh, yeah.
117.
I mean, it would be a fun exercise, like the paperclip exercise, to see how much I can turn that 17 cents into from here moving forward. Like from now until the end of the postseason, should see what I can turn that 17 cents into.
You got to put all 17 cents on the 4-1 seeds in March Madness to win their games. Increase it to like 19 cents, and then you're on your way.
I don't know, man. I feel like I was ahead of the curve. I got that 17 cents. I bet that 17 cents, if I tried to cash out today, it would be like, no, you owe us like $4.
Not to tell you what to do with your life, but you could also put that in a high yield savings account.
I do have one of those.
I like saying that you're ahead of the curve after you erroneously put a bet on a team that shit the. I mean, they didn't shit the bed.
I mean, all I'm saying is it could have gone lower, and I cashed out before it got any lower.
Is there any jersey of a traded player this year for which you would not trade the 17 cents? So, like, say somebody's like, "Hey, got you a Mikko Rantanen Hurricanes jersey
for 17 cents.
17 cents, you're taking that, right?
Oh yeah.
I don't think there's a player alive I wouldn't take their jersey for 17 cents. There's
Brock Nelson
one
Islanders.
player alive that I wouldn't take.
Brock Nelson Islanders, you're taking for 17 cents?
And hold on to the 17 cents.
Terrible behavior. You gotta take the jersey.
I
You gotta
think
take the jersey.
that I don't think
Maybe
they're-
for the set, I would.
Yeah.
want-
It's got to be a player who's changed teams this season. And I'll say the less important the player, the more interesting that jersey is.
Can I interest
like if
you
there were
in
like if you had a Max Jones Bruins jersey, that shit would go hard.
Can I interest
Yeah.
you in a Nicholas Aube-Kubel Sabres jersey?
I was gonna say maybe the only one that I wouldn't take is Tony D'Angelo's KHL uniform.
Yeah, that's where I was thinking. That's where my head was at.
People wouldn't know what it was.
They'd read the name on the back.
You already have it's about the name on the front, not the
True.
back. You already have the January 6th jersey.
That's true. I do.
So the Devils also are 7 points ahead of the Canadiens for a playoff spot, but the Canadiens have one game in hand. Realistically, and this is a team that is 2-2-0 without Jack Hughes, I don't see them falling out of this. I think that they have a little too much of a cushion, even though they're just barely ahead of Columbus. Would not surprise me if they hold on to that third Metro spot, but at the very least, I think they're getting in as a wild card team. I would at this point, though, and shut up my Devils fans, I would rather them fall out, and I would rather a team like the Canadiens get in. Although with the Canadiens, and we saw last night against the Kraken, they do risk finding themselves in a situation where when the lights shine bright, they're just not there yet. They're just not ready. Our guy, Lane Hudson, had a tough overtime shift.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see teams and young players I like get embarrassed. So there is some protection from that by having the Devils get in.
I do want to talk about the Lane Hudson thing later, but yeah, no, and I also think that like the Devils are a team that does deserve to be there based off of quality of roster. And so getting playoff experience for some of the guys that are on that team, I think I would consider that a win for the bigger picture of things. The only outcome that I will not accept here is the New York Rangers taking that playoff spot from the Devils. Because number one, the Rangers have been assholes all year long.
Oh, yeah.
They do not deserve to get rewarded for that. And for my Devils fans, friends, imagine just seeing your season go up in flames with serious injuries to some of your better players, and then having like one of your most hated rivals just gank you out of the playoffs for that spot.
I will say
that would be a horrible sequence of events for Devils.
looking
fans.
at the numbers, Petey talked about this on the show yesterday. Obviously, not everything, but the New York Rangers are the only team not currently in a playoff spot that have a realistic chance of finishing the season with a positive goal differential.
Yes.
They're currently -3. Everyone that's currently in a playoff spot has a positive goal differential, but
And the Devils have a grown-up goal differential.
Plus
What are
30.
they? Plus 30?
Yeah.
That's a team that should be in the playoffs, even if they're losing a number one
they're just
D-man.
they're not I was gonna say they're not the team that got them to plus 30 anymore, though. Unfortunately,
I still take them seriously, though, because of their coaching and because of their goaltending. Could we say
They still have a good roster. Like obviously, they're a much different team without Jack Hughes and Dougie Hamilton and Jonas Siegenthaler, but like they still have a pretty good team.
I
mean-
believe I said last week when we were initially lowercase s sucking them off that they still had win around potential. I
don't know anymore, but like
I agree.
The discussion is not like they're a bad team without these players. It's just that how seriously can you take them as a true contender in the Eastern Conference with all of these injuries? And I think that's where things have shifted. It's just like they're no longer being taken seriously as like a cup threat.
No real number one center. Defense still has kind of some guys on each pairing.
Yeah, they've got a good back end.
Hughes and Pesci is like a really good pairing. They get Dumoulin.
Tell you what, it's a really good opportunity for
Nemitz.
for Hughes,
Yeah, for
the
Luke
alive
Hughes.
one. Yes,
Yes, the healthy one.
yeah, Luke Hughes. Yeah, it's a good opportunity for him. So this is like there's still things that you can take away in terms of positives for this Devils season. I'm not sucking them off yet. I just think they have exited can be taken seriously as a cup contender this year.